Hi guys, and a very warm welcome to today's video where we've just completed our pushback at Jersey and we're about to start our taxi to runway 27, where in today's video I will be instructing you and telling you in very basic steps how to fly a manual SID. What is a SID? A SID is something you put into your FMC, which is pretty simple. It is your standard instrument departure out of an airport, and today we're flying the Goairuk 2 Alpha runway 27 here at Jersey. Goairuk 2 Alpha, you're probably thinking, what the hell is that? And how do you find out what a SID is? A SID is, you always go off the SID by the first waypoint you have. So for example, from Goairuk, if your first waypoint is Sam, Sierra Alpha Mike, you'll go on a Southampton departure. If your first waypoint out of Goairuk is DVR, Delta Victor Romeo, you'll go on a Dover departure. It's the same applies for every airport in the world, unless if some airports will not have a departure and you'll get radar vectors out of the airfield. But out of Jersey today we are flying the Goairuk 2 Alpha, but we will be flying it manually, and there's a few things which is very important which you have got to keep your eyes on when flying a SID manually. If you're wondering what scenery I'm using here, I'm using the UK 2000 Jersey scenery, and there is a video on my channel showing you or doing a review in this scenery, which is just, I'm going to say it again, a brilliant piece of kit to add to your flight sim. So we're continuing our taxi down now to runway 27 here at Jersey, and what is there to be expected of flying a departure manually? You've got to be really on the ball, and you've got to be 100% looking at your PFDs. When the pilot does this in real life, you'll tend to find that the co-pilot is always on the comms, like it normally is, but the co-pilot is extra switched on the comms, so that because the co-pilot can't really miss anything, because the main pilot flying the departure can't really pay attention to the comms when he's full on looking at these displays. The most important thing as well to be looking at is the flight director, which we'll go through very, very shortly. You're probably thinking, why is the flight director so important? Well, that will come into play very, very shortly when using a flight director for an approach into an airport as well. So we're here at runway 27 now here at Jersey, and we're about to do a departure. You're probably thinking as well, a flight director, why would you want to do this manually? Why don't you just engage the autopilot? I like to fly a manual SID, and this is it's a little bit more exciting in a way. It's a little bit more, it gives you that step more experience in the sim. If the autopilot is going wrong on the, if the autopilot is not engaging on departure and you have an issue, you need to be on the ball straight away to fly this departure manually. So here we go now, we're going to go 50%, full throttle, keeping our aircraft in the line with the middle of the airport, or not the airport, sorry, of the runway. We're keeping the nose mostly in line with the centre line of the runway. We haven't set our FMC up for a rotating speed. All we've set up for is a departure, but we're going to get going over about 140 knots. There's about 135. Stop the takeoff. There we go. Fully up now. We've got a positive rate. The gear can now go up, and we'll put the flaps up because we only have flaps 1. Ignore that call out there, because this is really important while the gear's going up. That is, you have got to expect that to them calls to take place. Now, as you can see, the gear has gone up. We've got all the red lights have gone off, and they're starting to pick up some speed. Now, this is very important. As you can see, if I zoom in here, that green line is the flight director, and that is very important, like I said, because that will soon edit and change when you have to make a turn. As you can see here on the second display, there is a turn coming up, so that's why I'm saying it's very important to keep your eye on the sort of green cross there that we have for the flight director, because that will start to move and then it will start to change when we have to start our turn. So once again, we're keeping an eye, very much not looking at anything else, just looking at the flight director, because in real life when this is taking place, the co-pilot will be paying most attention to everything else that is occurring in the cockpit. As you can see, the flight director is starting to move to the right, so we need to very gradually move your yoke or joystick to the right. As you can see, it's time to level up again, so this is where we go back into levelling up. take it very gradually, and the flight director always has control in these sort of situations where you must follow it. There is also a way you can also fly a flight director approach. That's the same as really as an ILS, but you are flying it in manually because it's just following the flight director down. As you can see, again, the flight director is moving a little bit more out to the right, so we've got to be careful not to exceed the bank angle. But that is very unlikely, as the flight director really does make you do a really gradual sort of turn. Something else I will point out any second, once we've completed this turn on the flight director, is the one thing you do tend to find out on flying a manual approach is that we've just completed our turn here, and we're still starting to level up now, back around for the turn to complete the turn. The other thing you've got to realise is we've completed this turn out of Jersey, and we are already at 10,000 feet, which I think is brilliant. So that's another plus that you do get on the so it's a plus side you get on flying a manual departure. But most people do say, oh, that isn't manual at all. That isn't manual because you're actually following the flight director. Yeah, you are following the flight director, but who's the one at the end of the day who's got the hand on the yoke controlling the aircraft? So if anyone does tend to say to you, this is not a way to fly a manual, this is because you are actually flying a manual. All you're really doing is you're following the flight director, still following the flight director from our current position to get us continuing on this AUTAC departure. So as you can see, we're continuing at 10,000 feet, leaving the aircraft, leaving our hand on the yoke to stay in control. And this is now the sort of time where you can engage the autopilot, where the autopilot will indeed take over. This is the perfect time, like I just said, for the autopilot to take over, which we are now going to engage and engage. So that's the main important things to do when flying a manual departure. When flying a manual departure, you don't have to do this, you don't have to do that. The most important thing is to get the autopilot engaged with them when you're at a stable altitude, and when your aircraft is stable and ready to go. You can't. I'm not doing this video to tell you guys not to engage your autopilot after departure and fly. You must fly a manual departure. I just think this adds a lot more fun into your flying, and also can add a little bit more realism into as well. This is simply because this prepares you for any sort of emergency calls that could occur and everything like that. So it's time now to conclude the video with, I hope this sort of video has been okay, and just a reminder guys to keep looking at that flight director on a manual departure. So guys, be sure to give us a look at all the links below, be sure to give us a follow on Twitch and follow on Twitter. So make sure you give us a like and a subscribe guys, and there's a lot more content coming your way. #TeamTanks, and until the next video guys, I will be seeing you later, bye bye.